A 45-page indictment for the 45th president. And as Trump's legal and political advisors began responding to his third criminal case, one key question they're asking: why rush?
The Biden Justice Department has had 3 years to investigate this. To take President Trump to trial in 90 days, of course, is absurd. The question is, why do they want to do that? If you want to seek justice, then you need to offer President Trump an opportunity to get a hold of all the evidence and understand what the facts are.
Joining us now, NBC's Garrett Haake and Dasha Burns, and back with us, MSNBC legal analyst Catherine Christian. Garrett, we just saw Trump's lawyer saying they need time, that this shouldn't rush to trial. What else are we hearing from the former president himself and his team?
Yeah, his lawyer went on to say that the Justice Department had 2.5 years to investigate this, so they should get 2.5 years to respond. The idea of delaying this trial is clearly at the heart of the Trump legal strategy, although that's not all of it. We also understand from interviews with Mr. Trump's lawyers and just the sort of general attitude of the Trump legal team that they're going to also make cases that the president's speech is being criminalized here, trying to argue that everything he said in the course of this laid out in this indictment is basically political speech, First Amendment protected speech that can't be gone after, and that he was relying on the advice of counsel, and that it's his lawyers basically who should feel the blame here, not him, for what he was saying at the time. Now, look, that's the legal argument. The political argument is much broader. It has to deal with the idea that he's somehow being specifically targeted because he is Joe Biden's top rival for the White House. That's the argument that we heard echoed from Republican lawmakers yesterday, even some of his campaign rivals on the trail using similar language. The reality is, Anna, this has worked for Donald Trump, at least in the short term. When you look at the online fundraising they've been able to do, matched up against the indictments and arraignments that he's faced already, he gets huge spikes in fundraising when he appears in court and when he's able to drum up interest in this idea that he is somehow being attacked for his electoral prowess around these indictments and arraignments. And I suspect we're going to see a very similar effort attempted this week with the arraignment scheduled for tomorrow.
Catherine, this messaging coming from Trump that this indictment, this whole investigation is election interference to hurt him in 2024. That may be his political argument, but does that argument hold up in a legal sphere, especially when it comes to the timing of the trial? As they argue, this all needs to happen after the election?
Well, the special counsel is looking at the calendar, November 2024, and it could be said that the public has a right to, if he's the leading candidate for the Republicans, to get this out the way. He's either going to be acquitted or convicted. The reality is all of these cases are not going to be tried. Clearly not going to be tried simultaneously.
So there's an argument to be made that this actually should go faster, not slower.
And this one will probably, I predict, go first. There's no classified information, so you don't have those issues. There's one defendant, not 7, which is why you did not indict the co-conspirators. The Manhattan DA's case, he's already said that it will be up to the judge, that he's going to step aside if the judge agrees. So that case in March will probably not go. So the civil cases, I don't want to say they don't matter, but Trump does not have to be there. So really, this one could be tried in the spring. And now I know we have the Mar-a-Lago case, but it's the same special counsel. So he can decide, let's do this one first.
Same special counsel, different venues, different judges. There's a lot that has to be juggled around. Let's talk about Mike Pence. The former vice president shows up a lot in this indictment. What is he saying now?
He is all over these pages here, Anna, and he responded to the indictment last night saying that the indictment serves as an important reminder anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. Of course, on the campaign trail, he's been very outspoken about January 6th, that the actions he took that day, that he stood up for the Constitution in spite of the pressure from the former president and the pressure campaign from Donald Trump on Mike Pence is laid out very clearly here. And we now know from this indictment that the former vice president took contemporaneous notes. And listed here are at least 4 conversations that he took notes on, including a conversation on December 25th when Mike Pence called the president to wish him a Merry Christmas. And instead of talking about the holiday, the president quickly turned his attention to January 6th and requested that the vice president reject the electoral votes that day. Another conversation where the president called Mike Pence too honest when talking about this issue. So these notes and the vice president's recollection and his testimony here could end up being critical. He, of course, is also a candidate, a rival now to his former boss on the campaign trail. So this relationship, former allies, now political rivals, and now potentially a witness against his former boss as well.
We had that graphic that was just so striking, showing repeatedly these phone calls, these private meetings between Pence and Trump, where Trump just keeps coming at him, asking him to do something that's illegal, that's unconstitutional. And Mike Pence keeps pushing back, culminating with the "you're too honest."
And that is made clear over and over again, that it is made clear to the former president, and Mike Pence knows as well, that this is illegal, that it is not constitutional, that there is no valid reason for him to overturn the election.
Catherine, how do you see Mike Pence fitting into the case moving forward? His testimony, his notes, even that quote from Trump to Pence that "you're too honest." It seems to imply that Trump knew what was right.
First of all, I don't think it's an overstatement to say that the President of the United States put his vice president's life in danger. On page 36, in paragraph 97 and 98, I find it chilling. The president tells Mike Pence, I'm going to have to publicly criticize you. His chief of staff, Mike Pence's chief of staff, grows alarmed and alerts the Secret Service. And then the next paragraph, Trump acknowledges, tomorrow, meaning January 6th, the crowd is going to be angry. So he has a recognition that they're going to be angry. And then we know what happened on the day of January 6th. He tweets, Mike Pence, didn't do what's right for his country. And then the Secret Service grabs Mike Pence and puts him away in a secure location. So the narrative of which is Dasha laid out, of Trump specifically targeting Mike Pence through tweets every time Mike Pence says, "No, I can't do it, the Constitution doesn't let me do it," is in many ways chilling, because you can see the intent. His intent clearly, obviously they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, was to not just get the pressure Mike Pence to do what he wanted to do, but clearly have the crowd go after Mike Pence. Now they'll say, clearly, I didn't want him killed. I was just, just what? Playing?
Right.
I find, page 33 to 38 is the narrative about how his life was put in danger.
Just very quickly, do you think we'll hear Mike Pence take the stand in a trial?
Well, he will.
He will.
I mean, he's clearly gave over his notes, and this narrative clearly came from him, probably his chief of staff and other people in the room.
All right, Catherine Christian, Dasha Burns, Garrett Hake, thank you all.